Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Laura. We've got Bunny next door ready for your messages, any questions, anything at all. You can message in and Bunny will be there to read your messages or your comments. Now, for this show, we are looking over a warm welcome, which was our brand new launch yesterday. If you missed any of the shows with me and Dave or our show this morning, this is our brand new collection. It did launch yesterday. It's item number 250901. It's on a show price for you of $119.99, but that will go back up to full price at midnight on Friday. You do get your free P&P in there as well, and we are approaching 50% for what are we? 45% of the stock of this has nearly gone, so it has been extremely popular. You've got your card shape in there, so you've got your dorsal card shape with your florals, and I'll show you the sample so you can see exactly what that card looks like in a minute. You've got your sentiments that work perfectly alongside that card shape, but equally on their own as well. You've got the florist's flourishes in there, which is such an essential one to get hold of. You've got your branching out, that lovely tree there that you can build up and make some really dimensional projects with that. You've got a light snack, so a little squirrel there with all of his acorns ready to burrow away in his home in the colder days. You have got your forager's bounty, those stunning mushrooms there that you can use in so many different ways. And then you've got let's get ready to ramble as well. So you've got those walking boots, your stool and the hat as well. Now we've also got on the show, which has been so popular, our Triptych mirror card shape. This is such a beautiful card shape. You can see there how that comes together. You've got such detail ornate pieces here on the top. You've got these stools, kind of like steppers that will go on the bottom as well. Then you've also got the ribbon, it's almost like a banner on the bottom there. You've got your mats and layers with that oval there, and you've got the tag shape. Now you've got mats and layers that will fit inside there, but you've also got easy aperture lines on the outside as well, so you can cut into them and make them into aperture styles if you want. Now this has been so popular on its own, and we are almost at 80% of the stock of this has gone. So you can see it's on a show price again of $29.99, and that will again go back up to full price at midnight on Friday for you. $44.99 that is at full price. You're getting a good saving there on that one at the minute. And then I'm just going to mention as well quickly, we do have the perfect papers. So these are the warm welcome ones, so they coordinate perfectly with the artwork that you can see in the collection. You've got 48 sheets, 300 GSM, so it's perfect for your card bases, your die cutting. You've got such lovely colourways. You can see that burgundy, the cream with that like an orangey cream in there, and your greens as well. So lovely colourways in there. You've got the check and the dainty daisy in there. Now I'm going to show you some of the samples. Let's start with the dorsal one first, so you can see how that comes together. Now one of the things I just want to show is this will go flat, so you can either have it flat like that to post, or you can fold it this way to post it. So you've got different options with this, but this will cut out in one cut. You've got the base that will stand up like that, so you could either have it kind of like that, or like this is the whole front. So you've got different options with it, and then you can see there how that sentiment will just fit on the spine. And then I've got another one here by Pam, so you can see there the aperture that you can see as well, that's built in to the card shape, so you don't need to worry about trying to line anything up for the aperture. That is built in. And then I've got one here by Barbara, so you can see what that one looks like. They're so pretty. I love the colorways in this collection. I think the colorways just jump out at me. And then I've got another one here by Barbara. So lovely. And then I'm just going to show you if, oh actually I got one more. So Vera did this one, and you can see even without using that spine element, and actually going in and cutting the aperture out, so it gives you more of an open aperture like a frame. But doesn't that look so pretty, just like that? It really does draw your eye in, because it's an unusual shape for your base, so your eye is instantly drawn into it to have a look. And then I'm going to show you quickly, I've got 2 samples here that I can show you using that Triptych card shape, so you can see how that comes together. Now you can either use it like that, or like this one you can see here. This one's actually just using 2 panels. So Barbara did this one, which is cut one of the smaller panels off and is just using those 2 panels, which I think looks so pretty. It's such a detailed card shape. It really does add so much texture to your project straight away, just in that base, before you even go in and do anything. But look how detailed they are. That's so cute. Right, so let's make a card. Now, I did say if you've watched any of the shows, okay, I've done quite a few. I think in every show I've done the dorsal card shape and the triptych card shape. So I also wanted to try and do some of our more not standard card shapes as well. So we've started off, okay, with an 8x8 card. Okay, so this is a craft card 8x8, and I'm going to go in with the perfect papers. So this is that lovely, it's almost like a golden dark cream orange. It's a lovely colour. So I'm going to go in with this, and that is going to sit on there like that. And then this is our blush natural, and this is just going to sit on there. Now you could use the cream in the perfect papers. To be honest, the only reason I'm using the blush natural is it does coordinate perfectly with this, but I completely run out of the perfect papers. I used so much. And so the front bit, so if you want to make this card at home, the only thing you're going to do is just score halfway down, so at your 4-inch mark, score down an inch and score down an inch, and then you're going to cut up an inch. You've left an inch gap there, an inch gap there, so that just comes back in itself. Okay, and then so I've cut now the same card that's just going to sit in there like that. So I'm just going to glue this in. So same colorways, this is just going to sit in there like that. And then that blush natural is going to go on there like that. But don't forget that we are live and interactive, so if you do want to message us in, or if you want to ask us anything, or maybe yours has already been delivered. We did get messages in this morning saying that some people were waiting. Theirs was out for delivery, they were waiting for them to come. Right, so we've got that, and now obviously I've got this section here. So you could measure this if you wanted to and add in matte layers on there. But what I thought would look nice is if we brought in the tree. So this is from the branching out die, and it's in the mirrored vignette. So I can flip this and that will sit there like that. So that is what I'm going to do with this one, okay? So I'm going to use a bit of pin flex. We are going to glue some elements in. So let's just put a little bit around here. So that is going to go there. And then we're going to bring in some of these branches. So what I'm going to do is I've flipped these again, so using your, this is one of the lovely things, you kind of get like a 2-for-1 with carnation because you've got those mirrored vignettes. You can, it doesn't matter what type of composition you want to do, you can make it work because you can just flip things around to make it work. So I'm going to kind of just put these at the top. Now I'm not being fussy about where these are going to go because we're going to add in more to them. So I just kind of roughly place them where you want them. And then I think we're going to, so let's do this top bit first. So I've got now the branches. So these are, again, the branches from branching out. So this is the one you can see with those autumn leaves on, which I absolutely love. Do you know when the trees all turn this colour? I think they look so pretty. Now, done with the mirrored vignettes, you can see you can flip them, so you can have them going either way. So obviously now I want these to come around here, so we're going to flip them round. And we're going to add these in. So just put a little blob of glue on there. And then all I'm going to do is kind of work with these kind of around there. So just have a play around with these. You know, obviously if I was doing it at home, just place some around to see kind of where you want them to go before you go in and glue them. I have one up there. And then what I love about this is you could add so many of these in and really like go to town on these and add, you could make them so dimensional. I'm going to add that on there. Oh yeah, Bunny's just said you could snip some of the leaves off and have them on the floor. That's a good idea. Yeah, like they've just fallen down and they've just landed. That's a really good idea. Right, now I'm going to start building, so I'm going to leave that a minute because I don't know how much I actually want to put on there. So I'm going to start building down now. So I'm going to add in these mushrooms. Now these, I'm going to keep them like this. So as one long strip. And I'm just going to add a bit of glue on the edge. And this I'm going to tuck in along that tree. So that's going to cover the rest of my card. So that's just going to go in. So I've glued that down. So that's going to go there like that. And then I've got another part of them mushrooms. So we're going to add these in. And then we're going to add, I think I add this one there. Where's he going to go? Yeah, so we'll add that in. So let's just put a little bit of glue on the bottom of there. And I'll tuck that just under there like that. And then I'm also going to bring in, so I've got a couple of different elements here from Florist's Flourish. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on these and then just tuck these in and around the tree just to add in those little details, and it does really bring the whole thing to life. I'm going to add that kind of there, so that's a bit higher up. So bringing that in. But you can see how just adding these elements in, to me it just brings the whole thing to life. It really, really does. I'm going to add this there, so that's going to kind of come off. And then I've got my mushrooms. I think let's add that in. So if you pop, he's going to go there. Actually, I don't know if we need that. So So let's add, now let's add him in first and then we can tuck some things in if we feel like we need it. So the squirrel, you can see he's there with all of his acorns. Now I've got the acorn that you can add in as well, but what I'm going to do is I've got another one, okay, and what I'm going to do is follow those cut lines. So remember, you're not fussy cutting, you're just snipping away those little bits that are holding the image in place. And I'm going to just do that, because if we do this, we can then decoupage up the whole stack of his acorns. So now we've got that. So if we now glue that on there like that, and then I can get my other acorn and add a bit of glue on there, and then I can pop that on there as well. So those acorns now are really standing out. So never be afraid to go in and do some cutting. You know, never be afraid to go in and cut them out. And obviously, you know, with the joy with carnation is that if you don't like it, all you've got to do is just print out another one. You're never wasting anything. Just go in and print some more. So I've just added another leaf up in there. I've got the birdhouse, which I just think is so cute. So we're going to have to add this in. So we're just going to have that. I think I'm just going to put that there like that, so it's like hanging up to the tree. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to add, let's add this sentiment on next before I put anything else. Now this sentiment, we're going to have this going across the center of the card like so. So let's just add some glue quickly to the sentiment. I'm just gonna do it in my hand quick for speed. And then we can pop this down. So like I said though, the sentiment has been designed that the bottom of this, that line that you can see, that will fit perfectly onto the spine of the dorsal card shape if you want to add it onto there. But you do have the mats as well to go with, and you can also cut them out as well, because you do have the cut lines that follow the writing, so you could go in and snip those out too if you want to. So I'm just gonna, I'll use pin flat for speed. I'm just going to pop some glue on there, and then that is going to sit there like that. So you've got with cheer, so that's just going to go there. And then what I'm going to do is, let's just move that, the bottom of this, I don't know how I'm going to do this without showing you. I am just going to add in, so I'm just going to pop the little stool so I'm just going to pop that there on the bottom. I'm going to put the hat there like that, so it's like slightly overhanging, as if that's just been placed on there like that. And then I'm also going to grab the boots and just add a little bit of pin flare in the center of them, because I've given them a little bit of shape. And then I'm just going to add those there like that next to that. So then I feel like I need something else there. Let me cut this. I'm going to cut these mushrooms because I don't want it to be too big. And then I'm going to cut this in a straight line and cut that leaf off. Well, I say cut, I'm just following the cut lines. Yeah, and I'm going to put that there. So that is just going to sit like that. So now, when I pick this up, so it will go like, so think of your other card shapes that you can bring that in. I just thought having that open area just screamed out to have the tree on there. I just thought it worked so well in there, and you can see how effortlessly you can, like, look how much dimension you've got on there. It looks so full, so incredibly detailed, but all you're doing is just adding those elements in. The florist flourish and the forager's bounty, they make it pop so much. They add so much into there. So you've got that there, and then you've got that little boots there in the back, but so you can see. Right, I'm just going to pop this by there somewhere, and let's make another card. Right, this one we are going to use the Triptych mirror card, but I'm going to use it a bit differently. So we've got the Triptych mirror card that you can see there, but obviously you can see I've only got one of that panel. So the die, you're going to run that through, it gives you those 3 panels. I've just cut away those 2, so I'm using the bigger one in the center, and then I've got another one that I've done the same thing, just cut that out again, cut away the edge pieces, and then I've been left with that center one, which is the bigger sized one. So I'm just going to glue that top of that together. So I'm essentially now I've made another card. Now that, to me, it could absolutely be, you could change that to make it look like a mirror, or it looks like a frame. You could even cut that out and put a picture in there and have it like that. It looks like a fancy table setting. Like, there's just so much you can do with these. They're just this. It's such a lovely one. Now I am going to bring in the mats and layers for this. So I've got, let's get rid of that. The mats and layers, I've got that lovely check in the dark burgundy colour from the Perfect Papers. So you're doing your mats and layers in there. Again, you're not measuring these. The mats and layers are in the die for you, so it's all built in. So we've cut this out, and then I'm just going to mat this on to the card. So we've got our first layer, and then I'm going to go in with that blush natural again. Just the wrong glue because it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, so it doesn't work. And we're going to pop that on there. So I've got my card base and my mats and layers on there ready to go. Now this one, we are using the Fine Friend sentiment for this, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this along the bottom of the card. So that, oh, now I've done it. I don't know if I want it in the middle. I'm terrible at this. I always change my mind. All the time. No, I'm sticking with what I said. It's going on the bottom. Well, yes, it is, but right. Let's glue the sentiment first, so I don't push that down. So we'll pop this on. So you've got a find friend that we've cut out, ready to go. So I'm going to pop this onto the mat. So you have got the mats there with the 3 different sentiments that you have in the collection. That is just going to sit on there, like that. So you've got find friend. So we're going to glue that there along the bottom. So I'm just going to add some pin flags. We are going to end up tucking things into this. So that is going to sit about there. Right, so we've got the base. Now I'm going to come in and add, now I've got a couple of different things here from the Florist's Flourishes. There's so many tongue twisters in this one. Now these have been designed so well that you could use them as parts hanging down from the tree, or you could use them as like bits of reeds or things growing up. So there's different ways that you can use these. You can cut into them as well. Now I'm going to cut the bottom off this bit because I want them to be different lengths. So even just doing that, look, you can see how it just flows a lot more. That just looks like one piece now instead of 2 different pieces popped together. So we're going to add these in. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the side there, and that is going to go there. And then this one, he's going to go there, so I'm going to add this one there, like that. And then I'm going to bring in again some of those elements from Flourishes, and I'm just going to cut like that. So I'm just going to add these in. So just keep adding these little bits in, and these are just going to add texture. Obviously the more elements you bring in, the more the more depth, the more image, the more dimension you'll add in to your card, your project. So I'm going to add that in, and then I've cut that one, and I'm just going to tuck that in there like that. So you're kind of just making that flow. Let's grab, now I've got these as well. So again, all of these now are still from the Flourishes. I'm going to add one here, so just pop a little bit on there. Add that in there like that, and then I'm going to use the mirrored vignette on this side, and we're going to add that one in there like that. And then before I add anything else, I'm going to add in my little squirrel. So we'll add him, and I'm going to kind of tuck him like that. And then, so like I showed you last time where I've cut out some of him, I've done the same thing here. So I've just cut that away to add in some more details on there. So we can add that in, and then we've got the decoupage of his acorn. So we can add that on there like that. And then I was going to add that in, but I feel like I should have done it first. Yeah, let's add this in. So let's just put a little bit on there, and then I'm just going to tuck that behind there like that, so that looks like it's just sat there. And then I'm going to add those little bits that we cut out, so that we cut away from the branch, I'm just going to tuck those in a bit further up, just so that image now flows that way. But this is one of the lovely things that I said about these sentiments, is because they are a really nice size, even in your card making. So like what I'm doing now, you can use them as your grounding element. So if you ever struggle sometimes, or you think the image doesn't look right, you know, it can be because maybe it looks as if it's almost like floating. You just need that grounding element there to like bring everything. It just brings the image together, and these sentiments could be the grounding element that you could use to just pop that down. So now if I pop that up, so that you can see that it's just there, that's the grounding element for you, and then you can just build that little scene up around whatever image you want to use. I think that would look stunning without the squirrel, you know, just with the foliage and the leaves, even just adding maybe some of those mushrooms in. I think it would look so pretty, but you can see how lovely that looks. And again, it's so easy to do. You can see how quick we made that, but it looks so textured, so dimensional with all the different reeds and foliage in there. So they work so well. Now I'm going to grab the boards for you so you can see exactly what each one of the dies looks like. So we'll start off with the dorsal card shape. So you can see you get everything you need in here. You've got the card base, you have the built-in aperture on the inside, you've got the cut lines down the spine, and then you have this almost like a bracket that will fit into there, and then that's going to be able to enable you to stick your sentiment onto there, or you could stick the tree onto there, the mushrooms, whatever it is you want, you can use that like that. Then you've got your mats and layers for every element of the card, and then that will just stand up like that, so you can see exactly how that comes together. So like we said, it will fold flat, or you could even fold it, you know, that way and fold it flat like that. Obviously them bits do as well, but because it's glued down I can't do that. But folding flat for postage will not be an issue. And then in that same die you also get these florals in there as well. So you can see you've got almost like your bouquet, and then you've got almost like those florals on the floor that you can build up into your scenes. You've got so much decoupage in there as well that you can absolutely decoupage these up. Or you could use those floral heads completely independently and use them to change the shape of these, or use them in with the florist's flourishes as well, and build up almost like your own floral displays with them. Then you've got your sentiments. So you've got elegant words, you've got with cheer, wonderful and fine, friend. Now you've got the mats to go with these as well, and you've got the most amazingly detailed. I love the font on this. I think it is absolutely stunning. Really nice size as well. Like I've showed you, use them on their own, use them as grounding elements. They just stand out so well. These could be scrapbook pages, titles, memory books. Me and Bunny were saying earlier, you could use these on gift bags or boxes or wrapping paper. There's just so many ways that you could use them. Then we've got branching out. So this is that lovely tree that we used, which is so detailed. Look at the moss on the bottom. Now equally you could pop another one next to it and make it into a full tree if you wanted to. You've got the branch there which will fit in to the cut line on the tree. You've got your birdhouse, and then you've got kind of like your spring colours and your autumn colour leaves to go on, or you can mix them up as well, so it looks as if the tree is just starting to change colour. You can mix those up, they look absolutely incredible. Then you've got your florist flourishes. Honestly, I've used these I think with almost every demo. They just fit in to everything so well. Like I showed you, they can really make a difference, adding texture and dimension to your projects. They will just fit in behind your flowers, your scenes. So much you can do with these. These to me are kind of like I'd say this is like a staple one as much as the card shapes that you will use all of the time with other collections as well. That's going to work perfectly. Then you've got your Forager's Bounty, so you've got those absolutely stunning mushrooms that you can see there built in with those vines that just work so well. And then you've got a light snack, so you've got your little squirrel there with all his nuts ready to go off and huddle inside. He looks so cute. And then let's get ready to ramble. So you've got your walking boots, hiking boots, your hat, and that little stool as well, which I think is just so cute. There's just something really wholesome about the image and the artwork. It just looks so lovely. And then I'm just quickly going to show you the Triptych card shape, so you can see how incredibly detailed this card is. So you can see this is how it has been designed to go. Obviously we've shown you a mix of different ways that you can use this. So this is the one that we used just now. That center panel is what we've used. You've got your mats and layers there for your sentiment. You've got your tag. You've got this almost like a banner wrap design, and these are almost like little, they're like little shelves, aren't they? They're just little pieces that would go on the bottom that you can build up on. You've also got the mat and layers there as well, so you can mat and layer these up if you want to. And then you've also got the easy aperture design on the outside, so if you wanted to cut into them like this, you can just follow the easy aperture lines and you can cut into them to give you those window designs. So if you wanted to put acetate or vellum onto there, make it almost like a window, go in with your tiny lights, you could absolutely do that and they would look stunning. So that is the collections. Let me grab another demo. I'm going to do another card one because I feel like we'll stick with the card theme. So let's go in. So I'm going to make, so I've got a DL card for this one, and then I'm going to go in with a sheet of craft card to start off with. So I'm going to raise this one up. So let's pop this on. Oh, so we've had a message on YouTube from Nicola. Oh, and she says, hi to me and Bunny. Hello, Nicola. And it's a beautiful collection and the DT samples are beautiful. Oh, thank you. Oh, and she is sat crafting while she's watching. Well, have fun crafting, Nicola, and let us know what you post in our group. Let us see what you are crafting with. Oh, and we've had a message from Chaz as well. Oh, that's such a good idea. So who was it? Chaz has messaged us in saying that the triptych card shape would be great to turn into like a grandfather clock from, what was it? Hickory Dickory Dock, the story, the song, isn't it? A nursery rhyme. Oh, that's such a good idea. That is such a good, if you do that, we need to see pictures. That is such a good idea. Wow. I love how everybody looks at things though, and they see different things. Like, I don't think I would have, now you've said that, I can absolutely see it, but I don't think I'd have thought of a clock. But, that's such a good idea. Right, I've just popped in. So I've just got my mats and layers, I've used the perfect papers, and I've just got that base in there. So I've just stamped one of the sentiments from the Clean and Simple range on the top, and then I'm going to bring the tree in. Now this looks so amazing when you actually pop them next to each other as well. If I grab, I'm going to make a mess, but if I grab this before I stick it down, just to show you, if you do it with the mirrored vignettes and you stick that next to it, how good does that look as a full tree? It's really, really lovely. So that would be great as well for like storybooks. I feel like there's always a tree in a nursery rhyme, isn't there? Like storybook. Yeah, I like Teddy Bear's Picnic. You could do like a Teddy Bear's Picnic one. So you could have the teddy, you could have like the little teddy next to it, like this big tree, the Teddy Bear's Picnic. Oh, do you know, I just thought we'd go good with that, saying that. We did one, didn't we? We did the Teddy Bear's Picnic. What was it from? It was Spring Grandeur. Yes, that's it. And they had there was 3 little teddies out for a picnic. Yeah. So you could have them at the bottom of this. It looked like they were just, oh my gosh. And the one of them was like lying back as if like he'd eaten all the food and his belly was huge. You could have him lying there, so he was like lying up against the tree. So he's just sat down and he's like lying up against the tree after eating all of his sandwiches. Funny saying what a life. Oh, I can imagine. I bet you, did you go tree climbing when you were younger? Yes, you did. Yeah, I thought you were going to say it. Right, I'm going to flip that and we're going to pop that in. So let's give it a little bit of shape. I think all kids do it, don't they? You get to like a certain age and for whatever reason you think, I'm going to climb a tree. Yeah, I don't think anybody. No, I don't think I ever seen anybody actually hurt them. But I think you kind of knew your limit, didn't you? You didn't go all the way to the top of the tree. You kind of. Yeah, it does seem high up when you're a child. I guess like the smaller you are, the shorter you are, the higher it looks, doesn't it? By the time you get up there, you think, oh, it didn't look this high from the bottom. Right, now I've got some again of those florist flourishes. They're so usable. I am going to flip this one round so it looks as if it's leaning into the tree, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the leaves on that side of it, and I'm going to pop that there like that. So I'm just adding some foliage then coming in to the tree. I'm going to add in, shall I add in that? Me, but I don't know. Let's add in, Bunny's saying yes, so let's add it in. Let's add. Oh, we've had a message off, was it Sarah? Sarah saying that she loves carnation cards. I think we all do, Sarah. That's why we're all here with you. And we're going to add one more there. So pop that there, and then I'm obviously going to bring in our little squirrel. He needs a name. We haven't named him. It's the second day, and now I'm thinking we haven't had a name. Although Bunny did name him. Yes, you did. Yes, she did. But yeah, I think you guys at home need a name, not Bunny's. Not Bunny's name. We need a name from you guys. And I'm so bad. Every time I see an animal, I don't know what it is, but like I instantly go to it's a he. He does, doesn't he? He does look like a he. But then when I look at his eye, I don't know. Well, you let us know. What would you like to name him? I'm going to pop that on there. And then what I'm going to do is I've got 2 of the Acorn decoupage pieces. So I'm just going to add 1 on top of there. And then I'm going to add another one on the floor there. Oh, so who's that, Jackie? Sally has messaged in saying Sydney the squirrel. Oh, that's a nice one. Sydney the squirrel. I like that. I think we should go with that one. Sydney the squirrel. Oh, do I want to, yeah. So we've got Sydney the squirrel, look, with all of his little nuts, ready to go and keep warm over autumn. But it's just another way of bringing your images into your cards as well. Do you want? I've got a pile there of all the demos I've done the last 2 days. Do you want to do, right, bear with, because they're there. Yes, I am. No. Oh, see, you had no faith. And did you see me? It was just magic. I just disappeared and reappeared. Right, let's go through these. So we have done, I'll show you the ones using the dorsal fin first, so you can see. So these are just the ones that I have done during the show. So if you've missed any of the shows, you want to go back, you want to see exactly how I put it together, these are all the ones that I've demoed, so you can go back and rewatch the show and see exactly how they come together. So we've got the dorsal fin there, and you can see bringing in the sentiment on the side as well. And then we've got one there. So again, to me, from looking at the artwork and seeing the burgundies and the creams, but then when I look at that there in white and green, that could be more of like a spring card. It looks really fresh and clean and like a spring card, like you're getting ready to go for your walks in the sunshine. There's nothing autumny about that to me. So you can mix and match these up. Let's have a look for another one. So we've got one there then. So do you see what I mean? Like the colorways now in that do take me to autumn, but then the green and white one I just showed you is more like a springy card, so you can really mix them up. You've got your lovely sentiments there as well. Then we've got this one that we did. So this one I added an extra panel on, so that will just sit like that, so you can see the back of this one. His boots have gone a bit wonky. There. So it's just another way of using that, and then I'll show you the triptych ones. You can see how they will come together. So using the trees there on the side, and then we've got this one, which again I feel is almost like a springy type of card, because you've got it in the whites. Yeah, it's not something that I instantly go to like an autumn-y theme. But then if I bring this one in, then you can see like the change straight away, but still from the exact same collection, using the card shape again. And then from that one we did this one, so using the florals, and then you've got that wrap then that will just sit on the front, so that again is in the card base. And then we did some, again, some kind of like your normal card shapes. So we've got that one there, again using the sentiment, like I showed you earlier, as your grounding element. And then we had this one where we used it on the top with all of those florals and just building that scene up there on the bottom, so you can see how that one came together. So different ways of using them, but you know, obviously you can use them like I've shown you on your normal card shapes as well, you know, but then also use them with the cards that you've got on there as well. And then we go one. So those were two, and then obviously the one we've just done as well. So just different ways that you can mix and match them up. So you can see there. Now that does bring us to the end of this show. Now we are going to be back at 2 o'clock. During that show we are going to be going through the design team cards. So we'll be doing our DT showcase. So we'll be showing you exactly how the design team have put some of their cards together. So if you've had your collection, maybe you want to craft along with us, or maybe you've got some questions, or if there's something you want us to show you in more detail, anything at all, then come back and join me and Bunny at 2 and we will see you there.